my name is Ryan, and my car is a 2002 Mercedes-Benz SLK 32 AMG. When the car was stock, it made 350 horsepower to the crank, and currently it's making about 420-ish to the crank. The reason that I chose this car, well, that's actually funny because this is a car that chose me. My family bought it as a second owner. It was originally owned by the owner of a dealership in New York. It was one of the first 3 to 5 to leave Germany. My dad went and purchased it in 2004 with about 16,000 miles on it. And when he decided that it was time to move up in the world with cars, then it ended up in my hands. And it's currently sitting with about 61,000 miles. The original vision was to keep everything bone stock, to not touch anything, to leave it the way it is. There was only about 4,200 of these ever made, and only about 2,100 ever made it to the US. So, and especially with being such an early vehicle, my idea was to always keep it stock. However, that has not happened. So far for upgrades, I've added the Advanti wheels, which are Storm 17-inch, 17 by 8.5 in the front, 17 by 9.5 in the rear. They dropped about 40 pounds of unsprung weight on the car. I added a Eurocharged 65mm supercharger pulley, a Eurocharged ECU and TCU tune, Needs Wings intercooler separation kit, as well as a SL55 air intake. The car is definitely not done. There's a lot more things that I'm planning on adding. Killer chiller as far as cooling, as well as water methanol for a little bit of added octane, as well as a bunch of cooling on there. As I said, I've got the 65mm pulley up, and now I'm going to do a 178 on the lower, on the crank. That'll take me up about another 50 wheel. Let's see what else is there going to be on this thing. A little bit of weight reduction here and there, possibly a trunk tank, some stickier compound tires. There's a bigger fuel system. And eventually, if we can get it all figured out, I'd really like to do an E85 swap on this. So far with this car, last season I did a lot of autocross. I was out for maybe 4 or 5 events, which is my first season. Absolutely loved it. Planning to do a lot more this year. Did a couple of sunset cruises at Road America, so nothing high speed around the track yet, but it's been around Road America a few times. And other than that, the car club that me and my partner Mitch run, we do cruises every other weekend, looking at drag events, stuff like that for the season. So there will be some more time on track with the car, that's for sure. My first car was a 1992 silver Mercury Sable.
Nice. Sexy.
It had the V6. And at that point in life, outside of video games, cars didn't so much matter. I was just happy to have something that moved and I could haul friends in it because it was big enough. If money was no object, I would have to go with the CLK GTR. And not just the CLK GTR, the Roadster. So me and Mitch run the WI Motorsports Club. Our goal when we started it about a year ago was to provide to our friends and friends of friends the group of people with the skill set and knowledge to be able to inform them on what they're doing with their cars when they may not know, and that these people are positive influences in their lives and in their car lives, not giving somebody grief because they don't understand how something works. It's all about building up your fellow car enthusiast and really just providing a good place for knowledge and to go out and talk to other people and see what they're driving, get rides with other people, get to experience other cars that you may have interest in or just always wanted to get into. Since we do have a number of supercar owning members, that's been something wonderful for myself. But we do a lot of cruises every year. Every other weekend we go out for cruises. We do meets every couple months. We'll do a big meet. We're trying to get more overnight events in. Trips up to Door County, that'll be overnighters. Trips to Upper Michigan, that'll be overnighters. As well as getting on track. Me and one of our other admins, Alex, we do a ton of autocross. We try to make it out as often as we possibly can. We're going to focus on getting onto some bigger tracks, some faster stuff, as well as doing drag strip rentals at Great Lakes Dragway, places like that. And really just trying to give people a full experience of what their car can do. But in the end of the day, it's all about having fun. That's really what it boils down to. If you're not having fun, why do it?
I've had the pleasure of knowing Ryan for just over a year now, and he's an incredibly genuine and sincere person. And I'm so glad I got the chance to sit down with him and learn about his AMG, because I never would have known anything about the SLK 32. But now we're going to get behind the wheel, and he's going to show me what it's really all about.
Alright, so we're behind the wheel with my boy Ryan, one of the founders of the Wisconsin Motorsport Club, and we're behind the wheel of his SLK 32 AMG that we just learned about in his interview. And it's fast as shit. So you can definitely tell it's supercharged, there's a lot of torque. That's wicked, man.
She does good down low.
What'd you say, from the factory this thing made like 350-ish horsepower?
Yeah. This thing is probably in the ballpark of about 400 foot-pounds.
That's insane. 400 foot-pounds of torque. And that's just from the pulley?
Yeah.
From the supercharger. Really? Mini wagon crossover things. There we go!
With the speed shift, just downshift and bam, you're gone. With it sitting in automatic, there's a little button behind the pedal itself.
Oh yeah.
And when you hit that pedal, when you hit that button, automatically it'll downshift for you, pick the right gear, and then you go.
It's just reflected. I mean, you can feel it. You can just feel the torque. It's just right there. And so, I guess the thing that really stood out to me when I first met you and saw this car is, I was like, oh, okay, it's an older AMG, those are pretty cool. I've always been kind of an AMG guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't know shit about this car. And then I think you posted a video on your Facebook or something, you had a dash cam on and you just hit it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the f?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that's fast. And it's just nuts, what you get out of this car. And it's not like you've completely rebuilt the engine.
No.
It's a supercharged V6 and it just goes.
It comes with forged internals from the factory.
Yes. It's so fast. So this was your dad's car?
Yes.
And then he just kind of inherited it upon you, and...
well, he gave me a good family price on it, and I couldn't argue with that.
There you go.
And I had told him from the beginning that I wanted to keep this in the family.
I can see why.
And someday it'll end up being my son's.
There's something so special about just having a vehicle that you can pass down from generation to generation, because, the normal everyday person doesn't appreciate this the way that it should be appreciated.
Yes.
It's not a 6.2 liter V8, it's not traditional AMG, it's a small roadster, but it's got mounds of power. If you didn't have this car, I would know nothing about this car. It's just, and that'd be a shame, because it is wildly impressive.
And there is so much more. I mean, so many more facets to this. The car was, as far as from AMG, was the fastest production car of its day.
That's insane. That's just crazy.
Granted, that was 2002, so we got a little bit of time there. So it was the fastest production AMG of its day. Still keeps up with a lot of cars. A little bit of work and this thing will really go. And actually the chassis, the R170 chassis, as well as the 722.6 transmission and the M112K motor were all passed on to SRT. And were used in the Chrysler Crossfire SRT.
Now you said you've got parts that you're yet to bolt on, so this is not totally done, as we talked about earlier. And then you were estimating your wheel power figure at that point with everything on would be about 400?
4 to 450.
4 to 450 at the wheel. So at the crank, add 15-20%.
Yeah, so
the drivetrain loss is.
555 somewhere in there.
That's just crazy. I mean, it's a small car. You don't need a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. From there, hopefully, we'll put a little more into it, but nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy as he goes through his legal pad of
yes, of modifications that are yet to be added that are currently sitting in my basement.
That's so funny.
So the time will come. The nice thing about these is from AMG, they came with forged bottom ends.
Yeah.
So realistically, the engine's good to like 700 crank.
That's so crazy.
I mean, it's pretty much part for part the same as an M113 V8.
Yeah.
Just add 2 more cylinders.
Nuts.
So whatever those can handle, these can pretty well handle themselves.
So it's really cool, really impressive car, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's a blast to drive, that's for sure.
Yes. So all of you Wisconsin Motorsports kids, talk to Ryan about his car. Awesome car, awesome dude, amazing story. I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you, Matt. It's been a blast.